Welcome back to Creating Cooperative Kids. I'm your host, Bill Corbett. Now, according to my own surveys of parents who attended my workshops, the number one problem that frustrates parents most is their children not listening to them. In this segment, I'm going to offer 2 more tools that keep that problem from occurring. With me in the studio to discuss these tools are 2 early childhood professionals, LeiLa Luksic and Eldredge. Thanks for being with me today.
Thank you.
So, the 2 new tools for this segment I'm going to talk about. Number 1, the first one is talking less. Because I think that adults talk way too much. And oftentimes when I'm speaking to groups, I always offer the example of we send kids into parent deafness by talking too much. And what parent deafness is when you ever watch a Charlie Brown cartoon when the teacher talks. And that's what kids hear. It doesn't make any sense. They tune you out. They can hear noise, but they're not making any sense of it. So it's important that we talk less to our children, whether they're small or especially when they're teenagers. They really don't want to hear what you have to say. But we have to get in a habit of speaking less. Now, I'm not saying I'm not talking at all. There's things that we can do that require little or no speaking. Some examples that come to mind for me. First of all, when your child goes, "Mommy, why is the sky blue?" and the mom proceeds to go into some scientific explanation. Why? Because she wants her child to know the facts. And she doesn't want to tell her some fantasy tale, right? But is it really that important? So I suggest parents say things like, "What do you think? What do you think?" Let the child respond based on what you've probably told them like maybe 50 times already, so why repeat it, right? So when you're doing that, just say, "What do you think?" when they ask you questions. Another thing is trying to replace your commands with as few words as possible. For example, in the home environment, the child leaves her book bag around. I can't tell you how many times I tripped over my kids' book bags, you know? And so what do parents do? "I'm sick and tired of you leaving your book bag in the hall, and I trip over it, blah, blah, blah." And before you know it, you're sounding just like the teacher on the Charlie Brown cartoon. Instead, say something like, "Book bag." That's it. Just one word, or as few words as possible. You have to be careful, parents, for those of you who are watching, if you try this, because your children may go, "Book bag," to mimic you because they don't like you telling what to do. They don't like it when you have the upper hand. Say nothing, walk away, take a deep breath, count to 10, let them do that. So what about this preschool environment? How can teachers talk less?
Well, I find that when teachers are talking a lot and the child is ignoring them, is when they are angry, upset, frustrated with the children. And that is when the child's going to shut down. So what I find is I have my teachers just remind the children what needs to be done, and this is what we're going to do, and it's a matter of fact. So you just remind them, and if, like you were saying about a book bag, well, we have cubbies, things fall out of cubbies. So you would just say, you know, "Johnny, can you pick up this? It fell out of your backpack." And he might, usually they'll say, "I didn't do that," and that's okay. "Can you help me and pick that up, put it away?" And we'll make sure that somebody else doesn't knock it over. It could have been an accident. And you're not getting mad at the child for their item on the ground. They're not going to continue to argue with you. You just explain, "Well, it's yours. We'll look to see, make sure nobody else is knocking over your stuff." And you go on. They're not in trouble. They've listened to you. They've done what you wanted them to do. And it's over. It's not a battle.
So I like what you said. It's the anger, it's the frustration that drives us to talk more.
Yes,
because we think they didn't hear us the first time. And you're right. If the stuff falls out of the cubby, the child says, "But I didn't do it." Because why? Because they're wired to protect themselves.
Exactly.
And they're wired to lie. They're wired to make up stories and fantasy, magical thinking, because that's what they do. And so we make a great point. If they say, "But I didn't do it," just say, "I know." And just clean it up anyway. Okay, so talking less is definitely be used in the preschool classroom.